I grew up with games. I love games. I've been playing Pokemon since I was 9, and they've always been a huge part of my life. But I never really had any female role models within games. All of my idols were men. The first studio I ended up at had 3 really amazing women who still have a huge impact on me now.
One of the women whose work had a really strong impact on me was Jennifer Hepler's work on the Dragon Age series. When I was growing up, I played those games and kind of experiencing a lot of that content. It was so clearly written by a woman, and I think that the way that it expresses is very, very different from a lot of the other kinds of RPG writing that was happening at the time, and it just felt like it had been written for me. And I know that a lot of other women who play games kind of felt the same way. And so as somebody who wanted to grow up to work in game content and in game narrative, that was really important for me to see that kind of reflected back to me.
Naomi Clark is a game design instructor at the NYU Game Center, and I was invited to speak on a research panel around game user research with her at NYU's Practice conference. And the warmth and welcoming approach she had, and just how just super smart around game design she was, combined with the fact that she was welcoming me and treating me as a peer, was that whole conference and her engagement in particular was the moment I felt like I actually belonged in the game industry. And her book on game design is pretty phenomenal.
Anna was the lead gameplay programmer on the game that I joined, and her experience was unparalleled amongst our team. There was Jane, who was an amazing artist, and Lydia was just equally talented in her tech art. She did VFX. All of them were such talented women in their craft that you wouldn't necessarily think of them even as women first. You would just be they're the best in what they do.
I look at Amy Hennig's work over at Naughty Dog, and those games were really exciting to me when I was breaking in. I often thought those were the kinds of games I'd want to work on someday. Christina Norman, not just for her work here at Riot, but also on the Mass Effect series. Those were really important games to me as a kid growing up.
Seeing them excel in their craft and also being supportive and kind of each other and of me was a huge, huge revelation for me, because up until then I never really thought of being a woman in a community of women, right? For me it's always been, it's just me in this male-dominated field, and seeing people who I could have as mentors or as role models meant a lot to me.
Something that I think is really exciting over the last couple of years is that more and more women are actually going out and founding their own studios. So not just Christina Norman, who obviously came from Riot and now has started her own studio, but also Kimberly Vall, who's working at Stray Bombay and co-founded that. Amy Hennig has founded her own division at Skydance. And Meg Jayanth and Lee Alexander are founding their own studio, and seeing more and more women run initiatives, studios, and games to me is really exciting, because it sort of shows that women can be directing from the top, and that women can be creating these massive experiences without being somebody's cohort or somebody's sidekick. We actually can be in charge.